Yes. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This your boy Samin. I am the host of the Sam I Is Show. I want to thank y'all for hanging out with me just a little bit on this Sunday. It's like 9:30. Is that the right? Did I tell the right time? I gotta look at the. I'm gonna look at the digital. It's like, is that right? Yeah, it is almost 9:30. Okay. Yeah. So let me holler at you. So I got the podcast, the Sam I Is podcast. I want to talk about a couple of things I've been working on. One is the podcast, and it's on Spotify. It's on iHeartRadio. It's on Simplecast, which is the host of my podcast, and it's also on iTunes, and it is also on Audible. So, like, Audible that reads the books, that have the audio books. If you go to podcast and you go to Sam I Is Show, you'll see me, and or you'll hear me, or whatever works best for you. But check it out. What the podcast is a lot of this for the majority. The majority of my work has been to have the sound be something I could utilize somewhere else, and so I've been doing that. But the podcast is this. But I start a little bit early on the podcast, and then I'll jump into this same audio, and then after I close out from here, then I just muted this sound. Then after I do that, then I will probably talk like another 15, 20 minutes, depending. Sometimes a half an hour. Sometimes when I get off of live, it opens up something else, because there's something about being seen, not being seen, and being in the dark in my home, alone with the microphone, my headphones, without this light shining on me, kind of allows for something else to come out. Right now, I know I'm not on best behavior, but I'm intentional about certain things, and I don't know. My grandmother might be watching. So anyway, that's the podcast. Sam I Is. All right. So what was happening? And I was thinking about black dads. I'm starting to look at. I don't know too much about social media. I participate. I'll show you a picture of some food. I'll do that stuff. I'll swipe, read people's things, put hearts, and occasionally I will write something. But for the most part, I've been off to the side, right? And sometime last year, I was like, well, I want to get more involved with it. I was tired of going from New Jersey to Manhattan to teach. And I was like, well, perhaps I could teach from home. Now, this is before COVID, and I had started to do a couple of little deal with some people with, I guess it was Skype. It wasn't any of this. It wasn't Zoom. It was Skype, and teaching them how to do some things with film. And it wasn't super consistent. The technology wasn't there, and my knowing wasn't really there. So it didn't really happen like I thought it could. But now with Zoom, things are popping a little bit. And so I wanted to get more involved with this type of stuff. So I've been learning it, and the best way for me to learn how this works, is to do like 90 and 90. Where all my people was like, dude, don't even do 90. But today, I think today is day 80, like back to back. Some have been great. Some have been like, dude, what are you talking about? But at the end of the day, I knew I was going to do the 90 just to dive into something I'm a little nervous about, get a little excited, but really like the nervous. That's like, I don't want to look bad. I don't want to, make a fool of myself. I'm cool. I'm gonna die cool, right? I'm cool. That's really a big deal, and I'm actually trying to conquer that. So anyway, without giving you all of that, I'm in. So now I'm looking at Instagram. Like, how do you use Instagram in a useful way, not a jargonish way, and confusion and noise, and some of it is noise, some of it is great, some of the stuff is noise, just like all of it, right? And not that I'm super impactful man, but if I'm going to be involved, I would like to have it be at least a sentence that you could go, that was interesting, or I disagree with that, which would be the best thing, to disagree with it. That means that said something that was wrong to you or didn't work for you, was unhealthy for you, and it had you thinking to write back to be like, well, this is what it really is. This is how this works. And to really have that type of a dialogue is fantastic to me. So I've been looking, I'm like, well, you know what? I just want to push black fathers right now. Like black men, and to be more specific, black fathers. Because in all my world of being a whole bunch of things, there is a counterforce that's speaking the opposite, that the opposite of black fathers, like black fathers are not around. That's an old model and that's an old conversation, but it still persists, right? So I would love to like chop that off, chop that up. And I know enough black fathers that I'm around. And I know a bunch of black men who have children who are, going. And a black father doesn't have to live in a house with the I'm giving you rules right now for black fatherhood. But he doesn't have to be in a home. He might be over there, but you still take care of your kid. Would be best if you could stay together. Maybe, but maybe not. Maybe mom and dad don't mesh, right? For whatever reasons. But it's not about them. They're adults. The children suffer if it doesn't work. So I believe that a man could be a father to his child from a distance, but be a father, but not like I got a kid, that type of thing. But no, I'm there. First day of school, I'm there. School closed. Call, hi, good night, I love you. But all the things, and I think it still works, right? So, point. I want to do like a little video. So I'm looking for black fathers. Couldn't find any. Now, the cover of the book that I have written but have yet to edit, because writing is one thing, editing is something different. I wrote it, started to read it over, I'm done. It's like, dude, do you have a degree? Do you speak the English? You know what I mean? It's just like, what? And I think I did half a chapter. It's exhausting. It's exhausting. But the half a chapter was really like, oh, that's good. But the work that it took to get it back, I just keep tabling it. One day I'll write it. One day I'll finish it. Point being, I wanted a photo of a black dad and his daughter. Impossible. White man, black biracial child, silhouettes of shadows of really black man with a little girl. But it was almost impossible. So I had to use the photo that I had from Lisbon. I didn't want to be on it, but that's what we have right now on this table. But as I look through like all of these places, there's so many different places that have videos and clips and photos. The idea of finding a brown-skinned man, you can't be specific. A brown-skinned man and a brown-skinned girl. Forget it. You can find a brown-skinned man, Spanish kid. You can find all kinds of black men with white men. You can find black mothers with black daughters or sisters, and on lots and lots and lots of photos and videos of black women with women, in every way you could think of. But black men and children is confrontingly difficult to find it. So I found something. I had it on the screen. My daughter comes by and she's like telling me how to edit this clip. She's like, oh, you need to put, because it says black fathers matter. That's the little clip, the little caption, and it's like beauty, strength, and power, something like that. And she's like, oh, you should make beauty white because it's on the contrast with the color. And she's like, she's curating this photo, which is, I love it. And she's like, well, why isn't it you and I? I was like, well, because I don't want everything to be you and I. Sometimes we could just throw some stuff out. And she's like, well, it should be you and I. And she walked away. She didn't walk away like I'm done. She walked away like do. I'm back to my life. But that was her 2 cents. But she instantly saw that. She was like, who are they? Who's that? And it was a black man, brown skinned man with a black child. I'll just leave it like that. Black child. Not brown like me, right? And then that made me start to think about other things. I started thinking about other things like commercials. You don't see. I don't see like the idea of black family on television that way. Now, I don't watch too much television. So if I'm missing out on, I know Blackish. I'm not talking about Blackish, and I'm not talking about that deliberately black show, right? Like, this is the black show. You don't watch that? Don't you know? You don't watch Shy? Yeah, I got it. I understand. But that's like deliberately, blatantly black, right? But what about the other stuff? So, and I don't really watch that much TV. My girlfriend watches a lot of TV, and she watches this show. And this is where I had an issue. It's called The Good Doctor, and he's not special. He's not, and I don't know the right way. He's a doctor, so he's not. There's so much political correctness around saying things. Can I say special need? But he's not. But he has some type of learning challenge. I can say that. But he's a doctor, so it's not that much challenge in that world. But the way he thinks and functions is like, okay, he's a white doctor. He's a young white guy. And there's this young black girl who's like having her heart broken because she's in love with him so much. And I'm like, who is writing this? It goes seeming, it's like nothing. It's almost like, what's the big deal? What could that mean? Who wrote that? Who wrote that? A regular black woman is having her heart broken by this guy, right? So I leave that alone. Now she's watching this show called, I think it's called Your Honor. And it's with the guy from Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad, everybody knows Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad was fantastic. It's Willie, the father. He's a judge. It's a decent show. And again, this old white man. And then there's this young biracial black woman who's a lawyer. It's like 40 years younger than him. Who's like in love with him. And it's like, who's writing this? And then it makes me look at me and go, well, you need to get to work. But I'm having an issue with not seeing the things that I want to see. And I guess that's where a change comes from. Like, well, I don't say Tyler Perry. I mean, you can say Tyler Perry, but, I'm not talking about movies. I'm talking about mainstream, and I'm talking about good stuff. And I'm not saying that Tyler Perry is not good stuff. I'm not saying that, but you get what I'm saying. So that it's just something, and I worry about my daughter because she doesn't watch too much TV, and she watches her shows, and I have to watch her shows to see who she's seeing, who the good guys, who are the smart kids, so I have to sit there and watch these shows with her to really see, like, what are you watching? Because it's all subliminal. It's all a message. So I saw this young lady's video the other day, and she says, well, about eating. She says, you're eating something to cure your body, or you're eating something that's poisoning your body. There's nothing else in between. That made me think about myself. I said, well, what am I eating? Probably like 85% healing myself. And I got some stuff over here, artificial sweeteners and things like that are definitely killing myself off. Or the way I prepare certain foods. And then there's also, so I use that as television because the media is going in. So is it strengthening her self-esteem? Is she seeing people who look like her? Is she seeing people who look like her that are winning, that are the stars of the show, relevant, sidekicks? Like, what is she watching? So now I have to start watching these things because she's really into shows. She wasn't before, but she was into cartoons and a couple of YouTube stars that I had to get rid of because it was just dumb. It was just dumb. And she would say, Dad, you know what we should do? We should do like a stay in a pool challenge. I was like, well, we don't have a pool. So that how could that work? Well, maybe I could stay in a tub for 24 hours. Where'd you get that idea from? And she would show me. I don't want you watching them anymore. This is the and but it was real. Like that's just no. We have other things that we could focus on outside of this. And then I started watching them and I was like, what is this? And it just was madness. It was lunacy, pure lunacy. But it's my fault because I just let her go in her room and watch whatever she watched. I was glad that it wasn't what I would have been watching at 10, right? With the type of accessibility that they have towards things that when I was 10, no, it wouldn't have been that type of silliness. It would have been something else. So I have to watch and monitor her stuff. She just found Tia and Tamara. She was like, oh my God, I found these twins. And I'm like, who, the Olsen twins? She was like, no, these are brown girls and they are sisters. And I was like, really? Tia and Tamara? She's like, how do you know them? How do you know? How do you know them? I was like, that's an old show. How do you know? And I'm like, oh, that's the dude. That's he was from this old boy band, Immature. How do you know all of this? I'm like, that show was like 20 years old, babe. And so, but she's found it, and which was really, it was touching that she found this show, and she loves it. She really loves the pacing and the space and the families and the sisters and all the stuff. But I just wanted to talk about this thing with this media. I'm killing this microphone right now. Just as far as how media, where's the space for looking at, and when I say the space around media, I'm talking, I realize right now as I'm speaking, I don't know enough about television. So I don't know what's on television, really. I really don't. So I might be saying something that's like, that's incorrect. I mean, I watch this many shows and I watch this network, so I don't. But I do know in what I do when I make little videos and I look up, epidemic sound and Artlist and Adobe Photo. These are all places that have photos that you can get them and download them and utilize them however you want to. It's hard on like a man and his daughter, black man and his son. It's not a lot of choices to which you can get choices in with every other group. Now, I don't know if I don't blame them. Maybe it's people aren't requesting it. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe the thing is that, why would we make that? Nobody wants that. Nobody's asking for it, and we're not going to make it. Why would we make it and have it in reserve for somebody to not use it? I don't know if that's an opportunity for me now to say, you know what, I'm going to make this stuff. And I know a couple of people who have mentioned that, mentioned that they wanted to do it, but I didn't know the levels because I just listened to it and I was like, oh, that might be good. But when I'm looking for a black man and his daughter, black man and his wife and kids, that type of stuff just doesn't register as, and I can make it sound, it doesn't register as important. Maybe in commerce, it just doesn't register at all because nobody's buying it and ordering it. And that's just something I was faced with today that had me think about, like, really? Something is yet again something else to work on. Anyway, that's what I wanted to share about today. That came up for me today. The podcast is up. I liked it in Audible because I like Audible, and it was dope to see myself in Audible. Like, oh, I'm on Audible. Spotify, iHeart. Something else I'm missing. The Sam Ayers Show. Check it out. You can listen to it while you do the dishes, or while you do your laundry, or while you drive. Imagine me rocking with you while you drive. You don't want to be with me while you drive. Anyway, I'm about to get up off of this joint, and I'll be back tomorrow. I do have to do some laundry right now. I done talked myself into realizing you talking about laundry. You got stuff to do yourself, son. It's Sunday night. Anyway, thank you for hanging out with me. Love, love, love your daughters. My daughter's a little bit of she came out and she just organized this photo in a way that was really, it was great actually. She was like, you should move it over here, you should change the color. And it wasn't just like talking for the sake of talking. It was just really handling. Like, this is what it needs to look like. This is what it should be. So that's a great person to actually, I created and she could finesse it. That's dope. That's dope. And that's what's up for me today. I appreciate y'all for hanging out with me. I hope everybody's taking good care. It's cold outside. Like, it's cold for real. It's cold for real outside. I understand why people move to Florida. I'm not having fun. And you would think I wasn't born out here. Jersey cold is different than Manhattan cold. And it just is. It's just a different cold. It's different. Maybe it's the buildings, the wind, because this is the woods. When I walk out of here, I'm in a house that's surrounded by the woods. The city's not like that. It's cold. And I find myself complaining about the cold like an old person that really is ready to go somewhere where it's nice and warm. So anyway, love, love, love your daughters. Take great care of yourself. Get ready for work. I don't know. Maybe. Anybody going on vacation? I don't know. I don't know what anybody's doing anymore. I know I'm not. 18 months until I go on a vacation. 18 months until I get on a plane. At least 18 months. Then maybe we'll see. But until then, this your boy Samin. I appreciate you for hanging out with me tonight. This is the Sam Ayers Show. Take fantastic care of yourself, and I'll see you tomorrow.